Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. All right, let's talk about this LSU defense. This is what I wrote in my column for LouisianaSports.net on Saturday night into Sunday morning. Was like the best pitchers in baseball can get you out with multiple pitches. It's great if you can throw it 100 miles an hour, but that's all you got, and you don't have great command, and guys can sit on it, they'll hit it. You got to have a slider to be another way to get folks out. And for LSU last year, the football team had one pitch. The pitch was Jaden Daniels outscoring you. That was the pitch. And that worked against Missouri, and it worked against Texas A&M, worked against Arkansas. It did not work against Ole Miss. It did not work against Alabama. And you didn't have another option. And so you go into this season and you see the performance that LSU gives against USC, and although the defense was improved against USC relative to last year's efforts, it was still like you were going to have to go score a bunch of points to win. They didn't run the ball very well. The defense gave up 2 late touchdown drives. Like, really the only way LSU could beat you was to outscore. And as we've seen over time now, we're seeing an evolution of this team where LSU actually used a couple of different pitches against Arkansas. One was the ground game, and the second was the defense. LSU's defense was a large part of that win. You forced 3 turnovers. You only allowed 1 touchdown in the last 6 quarters of SEC action, plus overtime. LSU has allowed exactly 1 touchdown. LSU has not allowed a second-half touchdown against Ole Miss or Arkansas. You're forcing punts. You're getting turnovers, creating negative plays, getting sacks. They're improving. They're getting better. There is no question about it. Do I think that this is a dominant LSU defense? No. Do I think there are multiple first-round picks on this defense? No. Do I think that there is a marked improvement under Blake Baker, Bo Davis, Corey Raymond, Kevin Peoples? Yes, I do. They are absolutely making strides. And it's not just the game against Arkansas, who's got kind of a sporadic quarterback. They were good against Ole Miss. 6 sacks in that game, 9 TFLs. Then you turn around in this game, and you're in the backfield a ton more. You had 3 more sacks in this game, plus the play of the game when Whit comes on that pressure and tips the ball up into the air and catches it and falls down at the 1-yard line. That was the play that essentially put the game in the deep freeze. Caden Durham paid it off on the next snap, and it's pay dirt. You've got a guy in Zy Alexander who wasn't even targeted in this game. That's the 2nd week in a row he's played great in coverage. You've got a bona fide edge rushing star in Braden Swinson, who got a lot of attention in this game and then finally got back there and got some pressure. But he didn't register a sack in this game. They came from Parrish Shand, who made a great inside move for a sack. JVR Suggs, same thing. He got back there with Devon Keys. And Weeks got back there and had a huge sack as well. He's the star of this defense. But Swinson on the other level has been very, very good. And quietly, Sage Ryan has played better at safety than he did at corner because he's a safety, not a corner. He had 2 pass breakups in the game. Major Burns seems to be playing with more confidence. He's playing at a more natural spot to him in that star position. And you're effective on defense. And it took some time, and it was disheartening to see USC go right down the field and score those 2 game-winning touchdowns in Vegas. And it was disheartening to see the big run South Carolina broke off and the big run Nichols broke off. But you started to clean some of that up. The only really bad play LSU's had now in 2 weeks is the 4th down Ole Miss 50-yard touchdown run. Outside of that, you kept Ole Miss in front of you and made some plays in the backfield, and you kept Arkansas in front of you. We've seen some wrinkles. They go to that stack pass rushing set that Blake Baker put in for this week. And if you're going to compete for some championships, you've got to have, quote-unquote, another pitch. And LSU used the ground game and the running game in this game to get it done. They're still really thin at linebacker. When Penn went out, you had to go to Devon Keys, and he's a very young player. You don't have NFL guys on the interior defensive line, and they're not putting up huge numbers. Like, you got JVR Suggs with 1 tackle, Ahmad Bro with 1 tackle. Gio Paez didn't even have a tackle in this game. So they're not super productive, but they are allowing the productive guys to roam free. And Whit Weeks is doing that, and he led the team in tackles again this week with 9. And Greg Penn was active when he was out there before he went out. And they're starting to get there. They don't play defense like Georgia does right now. But they kind of play defense at the level that just about everybody else is playing it in the SEC. I don't think A&M's significantly better than LSU on defense. I don't think Alabama is significantly better than LSU on defense. I don't know that Texas is significantly better than LSU on defense. They're probably better, but I don't know if they're significantly better. Ole Miss, like I could go through the teams that are right there in contention, and LSU is playing at about that level. And when you pair that, which is functional defense that has some playmaking ability, with a veteran quarterback and an efficient offense that we detailed in that last segment, you got as good a chance as anybody to get to Atlanta. I don't know if you have quite as good a chance as Georgia, but just about. Bama's got their issues. You already beat Ole Miss. We'll see what happens in College Station this year. You don't play Texas. You don't play Tennessee. They got their issues on offense. All of a sudden, you look up, and we're knocking on November's door, and LSU looks like a pretty complete football team. I did not say elite, but I did say complete. The one issue that I think LSU has is they don't do a great job in coverage. Taylor Green did make some throws in this game to some guys that were pretty wide open. But as I watch, I don't know where I am on the spectrum of LSU is bad in coverage, and then pairing that with a lot of teams throw the ball pretty successfully. Like, there's not a lot of games where an opposition throws for a 40% completion percentage. I know that Nussmeier did that against Ole Miss, but not a lot of teams take as many shots as LSU. LSU took 17 shots in that game. That doesn't happen every week. It certainly didn't happen against Arkansas. So I think that's just kind of the era that you're in right now, is that teams have quarterbacks that are going to complete a significant amount. You just got to make sure that you tackle and don't allow big plays. And big plays have been a killer for LSU this year at times. And you look up, Arkansas had 1 rush of 10-plus yards. They were leading the conference coming into this game in rushes for 10-plus yards. Nobody in the league had more. They had 1, a 13-yard run, and he fumbled. So that was okay. And then they had 5 passing plays of 15-plus yards. One was the touchdown. It was a good throw to Armstrong where there was a miscommunication there in LSU's secondary, and there was something between Sage Ryan and Ashton Stamps that wasn't right, and Arkansas got him on that. But it was not a situation where Arkansas made a ton of big plays. And Taylor Green's pretty good at that because he extends plays. He's got a big arm, and big plays didn't crop up. That was I can tell you from talking to some of these players, we get Swinson. I've talked to him 3 times now. Weeks came out a couple of weeks ago. We've talked to Sage Ryan. We've talked to Ahmad Bro. We've talked to a lot of guys on the defense. They can tell they're getting better, and you can hear it in their voices. And I'm not here to sell you a bill of goods that this Arkansas offense is the greatest in the league. But they were in the top 5 in the SEC, and they have been pretty productive at times this year. And they just never really found a rhythm against LSU. I thought the Tigers were excellent on defense, and I love that stat that I gave you earlier in this segment about not giving up touchdowns the last 2 weeks in the second half. That tells me Blake Baker's figuring some things out. He's got guys in the right place. They're flying around a little bit, and now you're taking a defense that really was only making big plays against South Carolina. They were giving up big plays and making big plays. Now they're making big plays and not giving up as many big plays. I started the segment with this, but I'll close it with this too. I have so much confidence in the staff that Brian Kelly has built on the defense. And I think the play that we've seen from them over the last 3 weeks, you start with South Alabama, which is a good step in the right direction, but certainly not one that you're going to get a bunch of flowers for. But then you transition that into the bye week and then do against Ole Miss, and then you take it and follow that up on the road, no hangover, deliver again. They are getting better. There is no 2 ways about it. And that is because of the coaching that Brian Kelly has put together. He made mistakes when he got to Baton Rouge. they've been rectified. Doesn't mean LSU is going to shut Texas A&M out. Doesn't mean they're going to win the game on Saturday. But this is the sample size we have. This is the information that we've got. And you look at this LSU defense, every level, all the statistics, the eye test, the tape, all of it suggests they are moving in the right direction. And I'm going to give the players the credit, but the coaching staff has been excellent as well. And I just think they're going to continue to get better. And it feels like you're going to have Corey Raymond and Bo Davis around for a little bit. We'll see what happens with Blake Baker. He's a young guy. If he fixes this defense, there are going to be opportunities for him at some point. We'll see how long he's in Baton Rouge. But I think you're going to have Corey Raymond and Bo Davis around for a while. And that ability to bring talent in and then develop it, they're going to play elite defense with this coaching staff eventually. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but once they hit those recruiting trails and they get their guys in there, I think this thing is moving very much in the right direction. I was really impressed with the way that LSU played, and it's worlds different than what we saw in Vegas, and it's worlds different than what we saw in South Carolina. They're coaching it, they're getting it, and it's at the right time because now you look forward in this 12-team playoff era, and you look at what LSU's got in front of them. If you can find a way to get this win in College Station, you're now a statistical likelihood to make the college football playoff and a real threat to get to the SEC championship game in Atlanta. And I'll be very candid with you sitting here. I did not see either of those as a realistic possibility walking off the field in Las Vegas. Either one of them. But now we have a 3-year sample size of Brian Kelly's teams that have unquestionably gotten better as the season has gone on, and that is what you're seeing with this LSU defense right now. It's a confident group, it's an excited group, and it's been a productive group for the last 2 weeks. Fun stuff. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.